Hey everybody, it's Dancing
Sorry.
Paul and caught off guard Patrick. Hey everybody, welcome to Hear Us Out. I am Patrick,
And I am Paul.
and we are Hear Us
How's it
Out.
going?
And we are a little bit late, sorry. And you will have seen the start of the stream, anybody watching live, because again, we're going to try and cut it out for the long-term viewers. Yeah, we got chatting and missed the clock when I was supposed to hit go. So that's why we're late tonight, ladies and gents. Hey out there, Irish Barra. I had not realised this. Hello and excited for another great afternoon from over in California. Wowzers. Thanks, dude. There's a time zone shift that I wasn't expecting. Good job.
Yeah,
Or I
did
shouldn't say dude. Thank you, person.
they mention it? I thought they mentioned it last time. Yeah, that they were because I think we were talking about because we went a little bit later last week.
Yeah.
So I think they were just like, yeah, it's fine. I'm having a good time
Nice.
in California. And I
Well,
was
I
just
gotta
like,
say, wherever you are in the world, and I've said this to you on air and in comments, your comments are excellent. So really glad to see you. A little bit intimidated sometimes that you think of better stuff than me or the guy that I'm sitting here with. So appreciate you being good, but don't be too good in front of everybody else. We gotta seem like we know what we're talking about just a little bit now and again. So just take it easy. No, only kidding. Good stuff. Paul, tell everybody what this episode is about.
so this episode is on. I know we did surprising casts. Their last session, and we're doing the surprising movies this time. Now this is kind of a they can be anything. It's any movie that essentially has come out of the blue or has been followed or has followed a bunch of bad movies or something that kind of we watch and we were just like, I'm kind of surprised that was either better, or I was surprised about something within us, or something that I'm surprised that premise was really good. The rest of the movie was terrible. Or I'm really surprised that movie was really good. It didn't seem like the trailer made it seem awful, or something along those kind of lines. Something surprising that maybe if you haven't seen, that maybe you'll go into one of the streams and have a look at yourself.
It subverted your expectations. And now I know some of what Paul's going to cover, and he knows some of what I'm going to cover, but we don't know everything. So it'll be interesting to see what we both think about the other one's picks or the other one's choices. We don't have any particular running order, Paul, so we're going to bounce around this. Do you want to rock, paper, scissors to see who goes first?
Back to the rock paper scissors war, are we?
It's been a while. I
This is
believe
going to be.
scissors won last time, just in case
I,
you're thinking that there's a sequence.
I I don't know. I don't know
I
because
don't
this
think
is
we
always
can do it
really
live.
hard.
Yeah.
It's also really hard when we do it hard. Okay.
Okay.
So I'm gonna do it on your count.
Okay, so 1, 2, 3. You paused. Okay, last one. 1, 2, 3. Okay, we're tied. So Paul, you can go first. What one would you like me to pull
That's,
up on
that's
screen?
not how this works. We have to do one more. Come on.
Oh gosh, okay. 1, 2, 3. Gosh, I won, did I? No, you won. So you
I
go
won.
first. The delay is noticeable when we try and do it like that. That's funny.
I do. Yeah, that's pretty interesting. Yeah. So, some movies that I thought were surprising. We're not going to go through my entire list. We're going to go one on one of this kind of thing. So,
Pick one out and I'll throw up the image for it.
well, this is the thing is, I'm going to go for Shazam first, the DC movie based on the DC comic Shazam, also known as Captain Marvel in the DC universe. He is the magic version of Superman, essentially. This movie came about after a string of failures and terrible movies, like kind of thing, like as in. We were still prepared over Wonder Woman because Wonder Woman was quite good, except for the third act. Aquaman had shown a little bit more of the campier side to some of the characters, and that they would fully engage in that campiness and stuff like that. But I don't think the trust was built. The trust wasn't built there that they were going to release another good movie or anything like that. But Shazam was a surprisingly good movie in the sense that it wasn't dark.
No.
Like, it was actually a fun movie, like, of exactly what that character is like. That character is very much a child who is given essentially the powers of several gods and has to deal with that, you know?
I gotta agree. It surprised me, not because I didn't have confidence in the lead actor, I should be wearing my Chuck t-shirt. Zach Levi from Chuck. I thought that guy's great. I'm already in, but I had you, Paul, kind of prepping me for this thing, kind of, Magic Superman. I'm like, oh, two things I'm not that into: Superman and magic. Weirdly enough,
Yeah.
but it worked. And of all the DC stuff, I went in with nicely low expectations, because of what was the Snyderverse then. Remember, you had Man of Steel, which I wasn't impressed by. Batman versus Superman, I think, had happened at that stage too.
Yeah, no, this was the last movie before we got Wonder Woman 1984.
Yeah, and it was pre-Joker as well, I think, wasn't it, for that end of the DC? Because obviously Joker, different kettle of fish. And what a nice change of pace from Shazam to Joker, and back again. It's a tonal shift if you ever go one.
Yeah, confusing but nice.
Exactly. So yeah, no, I was surprised that, same as you, I'd put it on I was definitely surprised by it, because I went in expecting it either to be pure kids movie, in which case it would be light, or kind of like the other DC movies had been and tried to be adult, and by that I mean they would just go dark. It was nice. I remember us both talking about this when we'd seen it, going, God, how good is Shazam? And people are just not seeing it. I hope it does well. It deserves to do much better than it's doing. It really is. It stands out on its own. If you look at all the DC movies, it stands on its own. Like, it and Joker are the two that stand on their own as, well, we're not really like any of the others. And it's in a good way.
Yeah, like that's the biggest kind of like it's so weird to think that this is still part of the DC universe, that they has Superman, like, spoilers, cameo at the end, kind of thing. Like, not obviously just the suit.
Spoiler.
No, just the suit.
Bit of Henry Cavill contract messing around going on there, folks.
Yeah, like some kind of like warning shots against the Henry Cavill kind of camp kind of thing. But yeah, like that's the thing. Yeah, Zach played an absolute amazing Captain America, like Captain Marvel, like an amazing Captain Marvel, in the sense of Shazam. Like, that guy is a comedic kind of like great. So I'd really like to see him in a lot more, and I really want to see him opposite a lot of the DC characters, because, like, I like the darkness. I like some of the darkness stuff that they're doing with the movies and stuff like that. Now, this is pre-Snyder cut kind of stuff. I still like the fact that they're doing some slightly dark stuff. It's just they need to still do it in a kind of way that, like, some characters are less light or less dark than others. And I think Shazam would be an amazing addition to, like, Ben Affleck's Batman.
It's true, actually. Well, no, I'm going to go you one better. Black Adam, The Rock. Is there anybody that you want to see play opposite The Rock as much as you want to see Zach do that? Like, I agree with that comment. We don't deserve him. He is brilliant. He's always great in everything. Sure, he was even in Thor. It was Dark World, which the first Thor, for like 5 minutes, and he was great. Like, he's great even as fleeting glimpses. He's a real scene stealer, but he's got such charisma that I think him up against over the top, full on eyebrow Rock, it would work very well. Like, I think screen time shared between him and those big types, I think could be awesome. So yeah, I'm definitely in with you on Shazam, Paul. I'm definitely in.
Yeah, like, it was a surprisingly good film from a string of bad ones or not great ones kind of thing. Like, it's not that my expectations were low for it. It was that, it definitely came out of I was just not expecting anything from it. I was expecting them to ruin this character.
Well, then, can I use that as my segue to my first pick?
Yeah, go for it.
I've kind of categorized mine under different reasons for being surprised. And this one is because I'd had no expectations really set properly, other than bad ones. And stick with me here, folks. I just want you to hear me out, all right? So, it's
just like the show.
It's Fast and Furious, just like the show. Hey, yeah, it's like, subscribe, share. I just said the name of the show. Every time I say the name of the show accidentally, we now have to do like, subscribe, share. Fast and Furious, which is technically the fourth in the Fast and Furious franchise. A franchise that is much maligned by me. I'm not the first one to defend it. But in this case, I want to tell you a little story, and I'm going to tell it one step at a time here. The Fast and the Furious, the first movie, is not, it's not Shakespeare. It is what it is. It came at a time. It had a cast of people who were possibly learning to act on the job in some cases. It's like, I'm a car guy.
Ouch.
Well, I know, but look, I'm a car guy, so a problem for me with Fast and Furious is they could make 50 of these things and have them all get worse, and I'd still watch them just because I want to see what next car they pull out of their pocket and go, God, they're terrible films, but I really enjoyed seeing that Honda NSX, whatever it is, or Acura NSX for those of you in the States. But going from Fast and the Furious to such a massive downhill move, which was the Fast and the Furious 2, which took everything that you could say was good about the first one, removed it, and then everything you could say that was bad about the first film, misogyny included, and amped it up even further. And Tyrese, if you're out there and you're listening, I'm sorry, but I didn't think you could top bad acting in the first film. The second film really did manage it. And then Tokyo Drift, the third film. No comment. Like there's a trend with kind of wooden acting here, and I feel bad like I'm picking on people. These are all great movies in their own right, but the first one of them that was an actual movie for me was the fourth one. The first one that I wasn't just seeing or recommending to people as it's just got cars in it was Fast and the Furious. It was the first fully formed, this is a movie with a narrative. It had, it had a revenge plot. It's kind of like the Mission Impossibles. You know the way by the time you got to Mission Impossible 3, you're like, they've cracked how to actually make movies out of this now. They're not just playing off it being based on an old TV show. Fourth one is not the best Fast and Furious movie, but it was the one that showed me, if you keep watching these, there's a chance that we might actually make a movie for you to watch, rather than just you're watching cars and then you're looking away when they're objectifying women, and then you're watching cars again and then someone says family. So
yeah,
it's not an endorsement, folks. It's a better movie than I remember. I literally watched it a few nights ago because of this episode, to see if it still stood. And yeah, it does. It's actually got a plot and even some acting. It gives us Paul. It gives us Gal Gadot as well. We got Wonder Woman in Fast and Furious before Wonder Woman. So if nothing else, if you want to give it some credit, it helped her career get to the point where she was famous enough to get cast as the role that would go on to make her a household name.
Is that the okay?
Yeah, Gal Gadot was in Fast and Furious 4. Yeah, it's crazy.
I'm trying to remember what is that the one where okay, now, you know what?
I love this because if you want to talk Fast and Furious plots, you can go not the one where they fight the submarine, not the one that's in Japan.
Is it the one that they go under the wall?
This is the one Mexican where they nick into Mexico through an underground or a tunnel under the mountains. Yes.
Okay.
Yeah. This is that one. Yeah. I love that all Fast and Furious movies can be condensed into like 3 or 4 words, kind of going, is it the one that they drag a safe around Rio? Is it the one where they fight a submarine? Is it the really terrible one in Miami? Because that's Too Fast, Too Furious. Yeah, it's kind of funny.
Let me just tell you, because the first Fast and the Furious, I get where you're coming from. The fourth one was essentially the one that had like, it was just like, oh, this is what we're going for. Okay, I can kind of get where you're going with this kind of thing. You want fast cars, and heists just constant. Yeah. Okay, cool. Yeah, get you. Cool. This is Ocean's 11 on Hot Wheels. Okay.
Yeah.
Cool.
And look, they used it to create 5, which is a better film, 6, which is an interesting film. Like, they actually did start... I can't believe I'm going to say this. They started telling story, Paul. They started telling story.
I get you. Yeah. No. Yeah, I get where the surprise comes from, especially with, Miami Vice 2 and what the fuck did we just make 3? I
love them all for what they are, except actually no, I just don't love that second one. It's terrible even for car people in a lot of ways. But I have a soft spot for each one of them in a different way, and I don't mind that they've gone off the ridiculous deep end, and eventually they're going to be driving cars in space. Quite literally, that's what they say they'll be doing. I don't care. I love the fact that they managed to turn my expectation from, I'm going to have to sit through this because I have a sickness and I'm into cars, to I might accidentally see a movie when I'm watching one of these. This is cool.
Yeah, I get you. Yeah. These are like how they probably wanted Triple X to go. Like, you know,
Vin Diesel connection
and just couldn't get the formula down. Because like when I watched two, when I watched that like, what is it, Too Fast Too Furious, I was just like, oh, this is how you run a franchise. Oh, and then they came out with three, and I was just like, I'm just not going to go see it. And then they came out with four, and I was just like, I will find a day and go see it. Yeah. And then when I saw it, I was just like, all right, that's not actually that. That's you know, not a bad movie.
It stopped being a car film and started trying to be a film with cars in it, which is a really good way for anybody out there who's into cars and wants to make a movie. Make your movie, then inject the cars. Don't do it the other way around.
Unless you're like Ford v Ferrari, then
because then even then. But yeah, no, I hear like.
You need to either dive fully into the car kind of thing and make it slightly accessible to the audience, or make it a film with cars in it,
or make it Torque. Which, by the way, folks, if you haven't seen our rapid review of the motorcycle version of Fast and the Furious, you have to watch that video of ours because we had to watch that movie. It is hilarious. It is Fast and the Furious with motorcycles and a lot less redeeming qualities. There you go. Except for it's so bad it's good. So Paul, on from Fast and the Furious. So we check the comments and then you pick one of your next ones and I'll pull it up. So I'll go for the comments if you want to pick one. I see that Irish says dropping the "thes" made the movie 10 times better. Well, you know, if you're brave enough to rename something and just take the out, that means they've added a "the" for the Suicide Squad.
Yeah, they've added it. It was Suicide Squad, and then it's the Suicide Squad. So
it's a dangerous game they're playing. Dangerous game.
We'll see if it pulls. If it pulls. Oh, I was gonna. No, never mind.
Quickly moving on. 4 Fast, 4 Furious. I'm trying to save you there, brother. 4 Fast, 4 Furious. Brew. The naming stuff is ridiculous, but let's face it. If you've watched any of the movies, the naming is the least of their ridiculous problems, and you kind of have to love them for that. F9 looks amazing bad. Yes, it does, and that means it could be brilliant. We'll still go to see it. Exactly. I'm with you. I will still see it. The next Fast and the Furious.
What's this one?
This is the ninth one.
I thought 9 was already. Oh my gosh! Like,
we're going to do a whole episode on Fast and the Furious if you can all like and subscribe and share, because I would love Paul to have to sit through the entire. I watched all Harry Potter movies consecutively in like a week and a bit, and then did a Harry Potter test and stuff. Paul, I'm putting the challenge down to you live on air. Will you pick a week at some stage and go through all what there will be by then 10 Fast and the Furious movies?
I mean, do we have to do Hobbs and Shaw?
That's why I said 10.
Yeah, that's what I was worried about.
Yeah,
I've seen Hobbs. I've seen all of them.
Oh,
I've watched all of them.
Well, I want your ranking at some stage. We're going to do a Fast and the Furious ranking and see where, because I'll just be like, I ignored the film, but they had a very, very sweet.
Yeah, see, that's the thing. You're just going to rank it on your favorite cars being in the film, and I just like muscle cars. So it's literally just as long as like Don's muscle cars in it. So I'm just going to be like, okay, so this is we got a lot of footage of Don's muscle car in this one. We didn't get a lot in that one, so that's second. Like, it would just be, I'll count the minutes that Don's like muscle car is in it, and then just that's what we'll. Anyway,
you're doing pretty well on the muscle car front. In all the movies except again for the worst, the second one. What would you like me to pull up, Paul?
I'm going to go for Jumanji.
Jumanji. I hope I got the right one here. It's the Welcome to the Jungle. Is that the first of the new ones, or is that the second of the new ones?
This is the first of the new ones.
Oh, okay. So I've seen that because I haven't seen the second of the new ones.
Yeah, this is I've seen the second one as well. So it's just more of the good parts of this, essentially.
Okay.
So yeah, Jumanji, Welcome to the Jungle. It was a surprisingly good film because this was the age of the reboots. Like, 3 years ago, we just had reboots upon reboots upon reboots kind of thing. And it was just becoming nightmarish. Like, everything from your childhood was being announced. Like, I think before that, I think before that we had Jurassic World as well. A couple of like maybe a year before this and stuff. It was just becoming a nightmare, and they all were not hitting home in any kind of way. And then this came along, and this probably had the hardest job because this was coming out from a movie that Robin Williams had been in and was like an absolute star favorite with it. Jumanji is a classic film of like kids having fun, adventure, random stuff, time travel, kind of stuff in it. So it had a hard kind of grow, and then like the trailer didn't really sell us as well. It had that whole like it's a video game,
Yeah, yeah,
but they pulled this off in such a weird way that I see my great thing. My feeling was that they took the premise that it was a game that forced you to take part in a dangerous adventure, and it was in the jungle of Jumanji, either coming into our world or now going into theirs. Because like this is the thing is we had a hint of what Jumanji's like in the first film. That when this happened, uh, they just took the premise and just decided to run with it with the name and stuff. So this is great. It's they ignored pretty much everything, um, and had Easter eggs in it specifically for the old one because there's a hut that they go to in the first one and it has Alan's name, which is Robin Williams' character
yeah.
in it. Which is a great Easter egg and a nod to the old ones, but without kind of holding back on their story. And them playing characters that are not them, as in like Jack Black a like is a stereotyped like high school like cheerleader type, kind of like rich type, and Jack Black is amazing playing that role. Like you had The Rock playing like the kind of nerdy kind of like gamer kid, the jock character. Like I know they're all stereotypes and stuff, but like these actors playing those stereotypes while being like video games. It's a very surprising move that they pulled it off, and then for them to go into the second one again and do the same thing. Like Kevin Hart is an amazing person as like in the second one. Kevin Hart is amazing as Donald Glover's like younger self
Right.
kind of thing, and then Danny DeVito, Rock as Danny DeVito is amazing. Kind of thing. So it's
Excellent.
a very surprising film because it held up to the franchise. This was one that it decided not to toe the line and try rebuild on what we've seen before, but try to go its own direction, which is great. And
Mhm.
that's how you do a reboot. Go your own direction and just stick with it. Take the parts that you need from the original and stuff like that, and make it your own. And that's why it's really really surprising about this film.
I'll be honest with you, Paul. I'm not going to just steal everything you just said, but I could because you've nailed it for me. To really summarize for me, the big. Well, is this one of my favorite films, and do I think it's great? Nah. Did I enjoy it? Yeah. Did I expect it to be absolutely crap, and it wasn't? Yeah. It nails the surprising chart. It hits every criteria all along the way. But I think the thing you called out that I kind of identify with most, or kind of I'm really glad you said, it pays homage to the original, but doesn't try and just skirt on its coattails or wring the last out of it. It definitely is its own little unique angle, and it dives right in and plays that. So yeah, I like it took me a couple of years, 2 years. I only saw this last year, and what it came out in 2017 or something.
Yeah,
So yeah, it was like 3 years, and the 3 years that passed, I had no intention of ever seeing it. Being completely honest, and you had told me to see it, I was like, okay, I'll put it on the list to watch it eventually. And I have a lot of films from you to watch, so it didn't come up straight away. And I'm glad I did. I had a fun little time with it, and it was so much better than I was expecting, even after your recommendation. So surprise, yeah, definitely, it rings the bell. And if you're telling me the second one is equally good, I will watch it, but it won't fit surprise because I'm now expecting it to actually be able to pull it
that's
off.
yeah, that's the thing. When I watched the second one, I wasn't overly surprised. They just gave me more of what I was looking for, and that's essentially those actors playing different characters while playing the video game characters. It's very confusing.
But
But it's
I get it from the trailer, and it did look like, okay, good that you're taking your premise and pushing it that little bit further. And I think you're right. The idea of these actors playing other stereotypes and then mixing in the fact that now you've got two older stereotypes with two famous personalities. Hey, Murtaugh made the list again this week. Go
yeah.
on, Mr. Glover. And you know, it's cool. I'm glad it exists. And you know what? For anybody who hasn't seen it, I would say if you're like me and you never wanted to see it, you won't be annoyed, you won't be disappointed. It won't change your life. But yeah, I think you'll be like, oh, that's way better than I thought.
Yeah, like I'm not going to in any way say that it's the greatest film on the planet, but
No.
it definitely gave me a surprise about what it was going to be like. So, I just want to point out that Irish Barra was like when Kevin Hurt said "backpack powers," I laughed so loud the whole theater looked at me. It's a great movie. Sequel equally as fun. Yeah, like
There you go.
there's good moments in it that just I remember and stuff like that. The whole smoldered look when they're looking at their powers and stuff, and then goes into it. Like there's so many. There's so many. Bethany is one of my favorite, like Jack Black-esque characters that he's ever played. So
Well,
that's how much of the characters I know.
I'm using that to segue to mine then, Paul, my next one, because it's about those fun moments that I am going to now throw up. Sonic the Hedgehog, another one that was on the list that you told me I had to watch, and that I had not had on my list because I had such low expectations. So if you permit me to story tell for just a minute or so, let's cast our mind back to the inception of Sonic, because you have furry Sonic in the first trailer and all the rest of that. Furry, beady-eyed, weird-looking Sonic. For starters, it was already based on a video game, by the way, which I had when I was younger because didn't have a Nintendo. Was a Sega kid all the way. No problem with my Nintendo friends. Love you all. We're all equal. Let's not have a Mario Sonic fight.
Except for the PC.
Except for the
PC
PC people fight with everybody.
PC Master Race.
I was exactly, that's the way you think of yourselves. But I could not, when somebody told me, oh yeah, they're making a Sonic the Hedgehog movie, my head kind of dropped a little bit. It was like, really? Let's not do that. Let's not try and squeeze money out of something. It's a little blue hedgehog, runs really quickly, curl up in a ball, run through rings, jumping, bouncing, landing on things. Has nobody learned anything from the Mario Brothers movie? Like, why should we do this? Then you see that abomination that was the furry, beady-eyed Sonic. And you know what? I watched it. And Jim Carrey and James Marsden. Talk about a script well written and something well cast to have enough genuinely funny and genuinely good moments in it that the little story that they came up with, as flimsy and as thin as it was, had its own certain amount of drama. You know, they actually tried. They didn't put in like a wafer thin plot. It was just one that they were like, this is a kid's movie. We'll set up a plot. It can be a little bit scary and harrowing that he's out of his own comfort zone, etc. And like, I'm like, okay, this is good kids movie fare. And they fill all their gaps whenever they need to. No harm in that. I watched this movie specifically as a matinee on a day off when it was a case of, you know, it was actually a public holiday. And I was with my wife going, you know what we should watch? We should watch something that you would only ever watch if it was on TV during the day, like a matinee movie. And that, Paul, is when Sonic the Hedgehog got put on. I laughed out loud more than once. James Marsden, I want to give him airtime before we mention Jim Carrey because he steals the show. James Marsden was great. He fit the bill so well. And anytime he got a really good line to deliver, he nailed it. There's a guy who's underrated when he does well. I don't think he always does well, but when he nails it, he nails it. Jim Carrey was just made for this, though. The idea that somebody wound up Jim Carrey and pushed him onto a stage and said, you know what, this is about a blue hedgehog. You're a guy called Dr. Robotnik. It's as though they were the magic words to, you know, Green Lantern Jim Carrey into existence. He was just perfect at every stage, every flicker of the eye, every curl of the mouth, every touch of the mustache. And I'm going to watch it again. Like, I will watch Sonic the Hedgehog someday again. I was expecting it to be a terrible idea. And more than that, I'd say it's one of those great matinee kids movies that you'll actually watch if it's ever on TV again.
Yeah, no, I definitely agree. Like, I can't, I like, the only thing I can add there is this movie is probably the, like, going back to old Jim Carrey comedy kind of thing where it's slightly body kind of
Yeah, a
body
little
comedy
bit
kind
of
of stuff.
slapsticky here and there.
Yeah, but like he is just could not stop laughing at certain parts. His whole dance in the in the truck and stuff like that, and oh,
Just
it is.
the witty banter, the repertory between him and his assistant guy. The first time he meets, I thought, oh god, are all the good Jim Carrey bits going to be in the trailer? Because I remember seeing the trailer, going, look, if they're going to let Jim Carrey be Jim Carrey, I'll watch this. And then I was lying to myself because then I realized, nah, I'm probably never going to watch it. It's Sonic the Bloody Hedgehog. You told me, no, it's safe, watch it. So it went on the list. When I finally did, I was like, you know what? I'd watch another Sonic movie. If they make a follow up, I'll be like, yeah, I'm going to watch that. I hope they do. And I hope they definitely stick with the version of Sonic they have now, and nobody tries to flick back to the original going, well, what if we tried that look now? It's like, no, that was a creepy little hairy hedgehog.
Like, yeah, I pity the animators in their crunch time to make that better. Like, because you know that they were the ones who ended up with the bill.
Yeah,
So
the real
can't.
heroes of that show. So there you go. Sonic was another one of my picks. I see we have a comment from Irish saying Sonic thought it would be dreadful. Some wanted to see it. Loved it and knew it was good when my wife was laughing and enjoying the film too. Yeah, like there was, I watched it with my wife, and we both laughed. Like we were both wrecked at the time. I should also add. And there's a sign of a film. If you want to throw something on that you're like middle of the day, we're both knackered, it's the day off, and you end up not just nodding off and falling asleep for the whole thing because you're too busy laughing and actually enjoying. Again, flimsy story, but brilliant family film. You're going to make kids laugh, I assume, and you're definitely going to make adults laugh. There's one of our commenters, Brew, you're in here. Thank you, Four Fast, Four Furious up there. You should watch Sonic. I would love your opinion because it's the type of thing that I can imagine you're like, I'm never going to watch Sonic. I'd love your feedback. Jim Carrey's a genius and you will love him. So, Paul, what's next?
I'm gonna go for Tag. I'm gonna go for another comedy kind of film.
Good call.
Right, so Tag is one of these. So I guess there's no link or yet. I was trying to fit. Well, I guess all the characters and stuff like that.
Yeah,
Tag is a nice film. It's a good kind of it's a good heart film. It came out of nowhere kind of thing. With I guess it was just one of those kind of run the mill comedy types that they just need to fill a void kind of thing. And this film has a lot of heart. It has a book. It's a heart. It's actually based on a true story as well.
which blows my mind.
So like, which is incredible kind of thing. It's amazing that this is based on a true
So
story.
actually, do you want to just the thing about here's the thing about it. It's about a bunch of adults still playing tag for 1 month a year, right? That's essentially it. And it's about the bond of friendship that they still share.
Yeah, like that's the thing. It's they started this at a young age. I think it's August that they make August essentially tag month where they play tag, and they like some of the ludicrous things that they've done in the past. Like if you look up the stories and stuff like that, flying to other people's play, because they obviously as they grow older and stuff like that they move apart and stuff, but they would spend money flying to other people's homes and stuff, not telling them and just turning up and tagging them and then running away like some kind of weirdo and stuff. Like, so it's a very good film. Like, a lot of comedy moments. Some of the comedy people in here are just amazing. Like Jeremy Renner and John Hamm. Like you gotta see the big names there. But like Ed Helms and which could Jake Johnson as well.
Yeah,
like
they were
they're
fantastic.
incredible.
They stole the show for me, I'll be honest. They really did. I thought they were both exceptional.
Which Ed Helms and Jake Johnson.
Yeah. I
I
really
definitely.
do. The smaller names on the cast, I actually think were the bigger stars of the show.
Yeah, I also wanted to put up because Amy, what's her name?
Amy Adams?
Amy Adams.
Yeah.
She's in this film, or sorry, not no, it's the other one. It's
Isla Fisher,
Irish
is in it.
Fisher. Yeah,
Isla Fisher. Isla Fisher is always great, by the way.
she is intense in this film, and it is hilarious to see her intenseness.
She's on Paul. I'm saying this in front of everybody. She should be on our IMDb review list because Isla Fisher. You'd be amazed how many brilliant performances she's put in movies that she's in. If Isla Fisher's in it, folks, watch it, because if nothing else happens, she'll be awesome. Big shout out to her.
I'm going to just grab that IMDb page.
Hot Rod was one of her big stateside hits. We all know her from Australia because she was in Home and Away or one of those shows.
Hannibal Buress as well. He was amazing in it as well. He plays like absolutely amazing deadpan kind of like characters, which I really really do enjoy, because he's in the new Baywatch film with The Rock and Zac Efron, and he's quite a funny character. Also, weirdly enough, just so people know, in the extended cut, there's a weird the extended cut and the theater cut have a really big difference.
Are you telling me I have to watch the Baywatch extended cut? Because I will if you tell me I should.
No, you can watch either one. It's just
I've seen the theatrical version.
Then watch the extended if you got I
had no idea. I just assumed it was more thong or something, so I didn't bother.
It's got a little bit more kind of story, especially with that character.
Yeah, cool.
So it's an interesting kind of one. But yeah, this is a film that came out of nowhere. I had no expectations about the film and stuff like that. I just thought the premise was really, really kind of nice and cool.
Yeah.
And then finding out that it was based on a true story, and then those actors are just incredible. Like I think Leslie Bob. She plays Jeremy Renner's wife or fiance.
Okay.
She is also freakishly intense in this film, kind of thing. So it's intense characters, like playing comedic together, which is really good. But yeah, so I have to it was a surprising film, came out of nowhere. So.
And the only thing I can add to that is it surprised me for all the same reasons, but I actually surprised myself for how dumb I was. I thought of, okay, tag, what's surprising? Like you said, fun sounding premise. But I thought of it as, this will be a fun movie, kind of like Game Night or one of those. You know, it's like, this will be a fun movie. When you hear the premise, you're like, At no point did I realize, when you say the premise out loud, you realize it straight away. It's about a bunch of friends spending a month every year playing tag. What I got from the film was a thing that we can all hear when I'm saying it out loud. It's not a film about playing tag. It's a film about people growing up, growing apart, and having this thing that keeps them together. And that obviously resonates with all of us, because we all fall out of touch with friends, family, whatever it might be, over years. And God knows, in the darkest timeline, I won't even say the pandemic, the big C word right now, Yon 19, whatever you want to call it. There are people who I'm seeing in comments that I haven't seen in person for a long time, and the idea of drifting apart bothers the heck out of me. So when I watched it, I got the big kick of, I'm not just having fun, I'm being emotionally jarred by this, to kind of go, I wish I could do something with my friends to make sure that I'm still friends with them in 10 years. Like, I've got you, Paul. I've got you nailed, because like we have now got to do YouTube once a week for the rest of our lives. So that'll always keep us here. You never
want to get more. We want to get it more, you know? We want that whole other part of our lives to transfer and just do this, you know?
Exactly. But, you know, it surprised me as to just how emotionally it was poignant in its own way, but how much it emotionally grabbed me too. So, fun film that'll get you in the feels, depending on how desperately you're missing any friends you haven't seen for 5, 10 or more years. So Paul, that's a good call. I'm glad that Paul picked that, but it would have been on my list. So, Paul, before I go to my last one, can I pick another one that you had on your list that was on mine also?
Yeah, go for it.
I'm going to go for Old Guard. Yes. We don't have to talk for long, because we've talked about Old Guard in about 20 different videos since this movie came out, which should be enough to tell you all that if you haven't seen it, you should see it. It's a lot better than you expect. That's why it was surprising.
It should be on Netflix on every region as well.
Oh yeah, no, it's worldwide Netflix. I checked that before for one of our videos. Its surprising nature is just how much better it is than you'd expect it to be for an Immortals movie. You know, it's about living forever, but they managed to put enough into the characters, and I don't just mean the main character, that you're able to watch what is essentially, you know, your Resident Evil level film. And I don't mean the first one, I mean the subsequent ones. It's that level film, but it transcends it. And it will genuinely entertain you, but it'll bring you along in a few places. So yeah, when I saw this on your list, I was like, cool. We definitely have one that we cross over on.
Yeah, like that's yeah. We have a slight review video, so go watch it in our library of films, or our shows. Like this is a film that I couldn't agree more with the surprisingness nature of it, because we've had there's films out there with immortals in them and stuff like that, like, and they've been terrible, or they haven't really they kind of haven't explored that whole aspect of it and stuff like that, but like the immortal side is like amazingly explored with this, as in like having so much time changes you to like you could be like the most optimistic hero type person, but time will road that, and what's left is like, can be dangerous, or can be like an even more refined gem of the person that you were, or anything like that. So like that's my thing. I gotta say that this was a very surprising movie, and I knew the source material as well. So like I was expecting like utter garbage, not utter garbage. Charlize Theron doesn't really tag her name onto a lot of stuff. So
No, that's true.
like it was interesting to kind of see.
Yeah.
Like once I had that, so like yeah, and Netflix did it well. So
I'll be honest with you. I agree. If Charlize Theron is in it, that usually means it's not going to be terrible. But I still had the whole, yeah, well, she's due a bad one too. This is just Netflix movie. I was thinking, I had more Six Underground in my head than I did what ended up being Old Guard. And don't get me wrong, I love Six Underground for a whole different reason. But in no way did it surprise me. It was what I thought it was going to be, and I like that. Sometimes you want to eat pizza. I was expecting to get chips, and instead I got steak, or whatever the food metaphor I've accidentally walked myself into here, folks. Can we kick over to the comments for just 2 minutes, because I can see things popping up. I can also see people mentioning Sega rules. Yes. Again, my Nintendo friends, love you too. I was such a Sega guy when I was a kid. Don't at me, I'm dead. Hi everyone. Hey. Also, I see Ethan joined and said he's working on a super secret YouTube project, which we will hype for you when you give us some details. Paul, I have a sneaking suspicion it might be to do with some anime stuff, so I'll be relying on you.
Cool.
And Irish says I haven't watched Old Guard yet. Just been let down by so many Netflix films. That's exactly where I was coming from. Now, again, don't let us overhype it. This is the surprise movies. We're not saying it's going to win an Oscar, but there's a couple of interactions in it in particular that will probably stay with you, because you're like, God, that even transcended the film it was in. Same, the Old Guard just didn't really appeal to me. Again, you might be surprised.
Who was saying that it wasn't appealing?
Don't at me, I'm dead, said Old Guard just didn't really appeal to me. Hey, again, there's going to be a pick in a moment that is going to basically, one of the reasons I'm saying it's surprising is because it didn't appeal to me. Yes, Paul, yes. At least you didn't shush us this week.
No, I didn't.
Myself and Paul were laughing about his autofocus finger last week, that when he did that, it was like, shh, you had me at hello. I love the description, Brew. What's that? Charlize Theron and weapons, all good. I bet nobody here can guess who I am. I have a very good guess, but I'm not outing you because I know exactly who you are. Because I do follow you on Twitter. So I know what's going on there, but I'm not saying anything because we don't out people. Everybody can give their own information. We're very much YouTube anonymous over here.
We're not going to dox you.
There you go.
Kind of thing. I say give it a chance. Like, as I said, there's some great moments in that film that will stick with you. It's not just a deadpan kind of action film kind of thing. There's some really good kind of emotional things to it. So
yep.
Yeah.
Well, Paul, can I surprise you then if I throw one in and then you pick one of your others? Because this is a twofer.
Yeah, I've got one more.
I'm double hitting you here. I'm double hitting you because what I've just thrown up on screen is The Watchmen and Guardians of the Galaxy. Because they surprised me in a different way. They're not just that they were good. Because you know I love Watchmen, and I will happily internet myself with all the people who say it's terrible. I will tell them why they're wrong and why I think I'm right, and why I have my friend Paul who agrees with me, and he's on YouTube, damn it. But I think Guardians of the Galaxy and Watchmen both fit the mold of, gosh, I don't know if you'll be able to get people to watch that. Because I remember them announcing Guardians of the Galaxy, and I was like, oh, we were going so well. Comic book movies were starting to be taken seriously. Marvel, you've done a great job. Please don't do Guardians of the Galaxy the way I'm hearing it. So you're going to have a talking raccoon and a tree. Oh, can we just not? Like, Iron Man was good, you know? You got everybody to change their mind. You took the people over who, you know, won't look at any comic book without, you know, removing the word book, because they're like, it's not a book, it's a kid's thing. It had so much work had been done that I thought Guardians of the Galaxy was going to wipe it out. Similarly, Watchmen, I thought, God, massive blue glowing guy. A very complex story that was going to be fun for people who wanted to get into it. I just thought, I don't know if people will go with this. I don't know if they'll go. I was massively surprised by how many non-comics people and non-traditional into this sort of stuff people, particularly the Watchmen, the people who I know that like the Watchmen, that have no interest in comics or no interest in anything, they're like, man, that's an incredibly ingenious bit of storytelling. And I'm like, yeah, it is, isn't it? Now, one or two of them will still go, oh, but the massive blue dong, though. And you're like, okay, well, we can all get over that pretty quickly, can't we? Guardians of the Galaxy, that went one step further. Everybody was like, 2 minutes in, yeah, no problem, that raccoon's funny, so I'm on. That's it, no problem. These are people who had a problem with Superman being able to fly, but a raccoon and its favourite pet tree was fine because it was funny and charming. So I'm surprised that they got people other than me to like it. There's why they're on my list.
Yeah, I definitely get that. The Guardians of the Galaxy, yeah, I guess it's a trial by fire kind of thing, that if you can get someone to like this, then more than likely we're safe to get rid of some of the other stuff. So yeah, no, I'm really glad that they took that kind of jump, because it also explored. They're also good adventurers or good characters to kind of get the wider world or get the wider universe,
yeah,
kind of thing. So that's really cool. Watchmen, on the other hand, like I'm surprised by that film because it's such a great adaptation of the comic book. I'm surprised not more people like it or get it. That's my problem. We won't go into this now because I
think, to be fair to it, the internet is very loud, but I don't think it represents as many people sometimes as it might feel, because the amount of lay people, or whatever way you want to look at it, that Watchmen has won over. You know, it's like, what's your favorite comic book movie? Even though it's, you know, what's your favorite graphic novel movie? Technically, I guess in some ways, I know people who go, "Oh, Watchmen, definitely." Because, you know, I'm not into comics, or you know, these are people that don't know the difference between Marvel and DC, and they don't know that Watchmen is in neither. It's like, it hit a lot of people, and I'm really surprised by that. I'm constantly surprised by the unexpected people who've watched it and loved it.
Yeah, like I'm yeah. It's a surprise to hear. It's a surprise to hear that probably there's a lot more people who like it than I probably think. I also have a lot of friends that I also think that it's a very bad movie, and I'm just like, really? Because like they'll say that the acting is wooden, and I'm just like, have you seen Noir at all? That's the whole point of this. Like, it is a noir-based comic, like graphic novel, and it is like it's the darkest universe you could possibly have, where you have one character literally showing the face of humanity's horrible brutalness in it, you know, kind of thing. So
yeah, I hear you. And look, we've all got friends that test us on occasion, Paul. But yeah, no, I'm also with you. And I'm surprised it's not more popular now that it, you know, since it did what it did. I'm also then surprised it's not more popular with people who should know and like it, that seem to want to turn on it a little bit. But that's a different episode, I reckon.
Yeah, this is a movie that was built for Zack Snyder to take on, and like he did really well with it. Like, and I'm not the biggest Snyder fan, so, but it was a very good adaptation, very good film. So
there you go.
I'm just surprised about it.
So give me one of your other picks.
So I'll give my last pick, which is going to be Happy Death Day, which is a horror film, which is, and as many people know, I have actually probably another bunch of these, another few horror movies on the list, but like I would say that Get Out and Us are also on the list, kind of thing, has been surprising, and they're both from Peel. So yeah, Happy Death Day. It's a film that's just clever and funny and nice, and like it's still a horror film, but it's essentially Groundhog Day but murders, and like which is an easy kind of concept kind of thing, but like it goes into a little bit more depth about the whole kind of like, I guess, like not morality, but the kind of like immortality that can bring, and the moral questions that you should have about it, and kind of like how it can desensitize you in certain fashions and stuff like that, like the questions that we got glimpses of in Groundhog Day and nothing in Edge of Tomorrow, actually, because it had a moral focus on something else.
It had something else it was trying to do. Yeah, it's true.
Yeah, kind of thing. So, but this film is just a clever kind of, because then it slowly changes as well over time and stuff like that. It's funny kind of thing, like it turns itself on its head and starts making kind of fun and lightness of itself. So I akin this to kind of Cabin in the Woods, like it's Cabin in the Woods adjacent.
Well, that's that.
Kind of thing.
Them's big shoots there. Big shoots, man.
Yeah, like it's not directly linked to, like, it's not directly on the same level as Cabin in the Woods, because Cabin in the Woods is a whole different kind of parody, kind of cool niceness thing on the whole genre of horror. This does it on a particular type, and like it's good, it's funny, it's clever. It came out of the blue. I thought it was going to be absolutely awful. I'm a horror person, so I'm definitely used to that feeling and stuff, and like I'm less surprised more than I am surprised on these kind of films. So yeah, it's a fun film, it's a good film, it's a slasher film, it's got a little cleverness to it. So yeah, I recommend it. Out of the horror genre that's come out for the last couple of whiles, the slasher genre of horror has not gotten a nice deal, and this is kind of a nice kind of one to go with it. So yeah, I see that, like, in the chat we've got Insidious as well. Insidious and that whole series is great, it's fantastic, but they're not surprising because the directors and the work and effort that were put into them. This is just out of the blue, nowhere kind of stuff that was meant to be probably put on a shelf and just left alone and stuff, and it was really funny and really good and interesting. So, well,
something happened that happens regularly on the show, but I was going to say a sentence and then I looked over and I read it on the screen beside me. Because Brew commented the only thing that I was going to say to you about this, which is Groundhog Day with murders. I'm in. I have not seen this movie. It is now, everybody, you heard it here first. I'm going to have to toss a coin between Baywatch, the extended cut, and Happy Death Day. I'm just saying that sentence because nobody else is ever going to say that sentence in the history of time. It's going to be Happy Death Day, folks. Baywatch extended cut will be watched at some stage. But yeah, no, I'm down with that, and it does sound surprising. I buy into what you mean by why it would be a surprising movie. So
yeah, like it doesn't,
cool.
It's not like going to win any rewards. It's not going to go down in any kind of sense, like, of the greatest films or greatest horror films of the world and stuff like that. But it's one of those kind of slight nice gems that come out every now and again, like Dr. Sleep as well, the Stephen King one that came out about the second part, the kid from The Shining's like second movie, that was really good as well.
Well, I'm glad that I always like it on the channel where we get to give a bit of airtime to movies that might be missed by people, and this is one of those movies that didn't have huge amounts of press that I remember. So I'm happy it got called out. So Paul, before we finish up, because we're finishing before the hour if it kills me, I'm going to do my quick honourable mention. I want to flash it up on screen. Downton Abbey the movie. There's a movie, and I said I'd come to something that just, if it isn't your style, it isn't your style, etc. This one surprised the hell out of me because I thought, oh gosh, this is not my kind of movie. Didn't watch the show. Went to see it, and it won me over in a romantic kind of lovely way. I was a boy that went and sat down expecting to hate a movie, and the movie was charming and sweet and polite in places enough that it gave me an idea of what it was trying to do. It didn't patronize me too much as somebody who hadn't seen the TV show. It brought me along enough. Genuinely, I was like, maybe this Downton Abbey stuff's not so bad. Don't get me wrong, still not my thing. But as far as surprising goes, if you'd asked me at any point in the history of time, was I going to go and see Downton Abbey or a costume drama like it, and described it to me and go, you're going to walk out of the cinema going, you know what, that's really good, I'm going to recommend that to people. No chance. Yet, it's exactly what I did. I remember texting you, and I was talking to other people going, yeah, Downton Abbey, that's where it's at, folks. That's a movie worth seeing.
I think we watched it fairly close to each other as
Yep.
well, actually, because like
We did.
yeah, I was going to watch it with my partner, and I was just like, I'm doing it for her. I'm not really interested in Downton Abbey. I know she really likes it and stuff like that. And I got into the film so much so that I actually ended up watching the entire series. I'm
That's
one
right, you
episode away, kind of from the end, because it went off Prime for a bit, but it's now back, kind of thing. So I have to watch the last episode.
Gosh, you're full on downtown. You went right downtown all the way to the Abbey and back again.
I am very surprised about how actually like interesting the story of those characters are. Like, it is an interesting family and town affair kind of thing. Like, as I said, it was a surprise. And oh my god, I can't remember her name. She's amazing in it.
Maggie Smith.
Maggie Smith.
Yeah, Maggie Smith's amazing at everything. She gets
Like
a pass. It's like, it's not even a costume drama when she's in it. Anytime she's on screen in anything, it's like, there's Maggie Smith. Look at her go.
Her character was designed for her. Did you know that? I only found that out. It's
That
literally
sounds so believable.
that
sounds
character is
absolutely-
literally just designed for her. Like,
That's
yeah.
cool. Well, come here. I am going to throw us the comments one last time, and then we better surprise our way right out of this. The last comment here, we see watch Insidious. Check it. I will check it out. Batman
Terrifying
Begins
film.
was a surprising movie. After Batman and Robin, and Nolan wasn't yet Nolan, and Bale was still a child actor. That's true. Who made weird films at the time he was an adult. You're right, on all levels. That's one. Gosh, see, remember the thing I said at the start where you don't want to have the comment that's better than anything the host people thought of? Because you kind of just did it. Well done. I'll watch your YouTube channel, actually. That's a really good point. Nolan wasn't Nolan. The expectation shouldn't have been there for the Batman that we got in Batman Begins. And with the exception of maybe American Psycho, Christian Bale wasn't, he was still Empire of the Sun Christian Bale for a lot of people. So
He did The Machinist.
The Machinist, yeah, which, don't get me wrong, good movie and a hell of a lot of weight loss, but you don't necessarily think Batman straight away. It was Batman Begins. I'd put that on my list of surprising movies too. Good call.
I'm sorry, I'm going to disagree a
You
little
weren't
bit.
surprised? Okay.
I wasn't surprised because it came after Batman and Robin, and any fucking film after Batman and Robin that involved Batman and not like
Mr. Freeze and
Stick it on.
I'm sorry.
Yeah.
That terrible movie. I was just like, oh, they're taking it more seriously. This is going to be good. Because after that abysmal muck of a film, I was just like, yeah, it's going to be good.
Yeah.
So I get where they're coming
I see
from.
what you're saying. From a comparatively, yeah, I get you. The
Like-
only way was up.
Yeah, but I get it. There's a lot of ifs and maybes in that list of things when you look at it from a face value kind of thing, and yeah, I get it. I get the surprise kind of thing.
Well, with that surprising note, that the one movie that I should have probably had at the top of my list. Thank you very much, Irish. Good call. Genuinely, though, I'm only joking about all the other stuff. Genuinely, thank you for nailing that, because I'm really glad that made it in. We are out of time, ladies and gentlemen. How about you like, share, subscribe, comment, check us out next week. God knows what we'll be doing. It could be something fun. I'd love to see you there. I'm glad you saw us here. I'm glad you heard us out. I have been Patrick,
And I've been Paul.
and we'll see you next time. We've been Hear Us Out.
Bye. Bye. Don't forget to like, subscribe, and comment down below about everything.